Before the blade of fate descends, there is always a moment, so brief it could be mistaken for illusion, where life and death hang suspended in silence. And in that fragile instant, Wang Lin's eyes ignited with a sharp, piercing light. He understood. With his current cultivation, he could not withstand the might of the golden-armored figure, not unless he summoned the Ascendant Soul. At the same time, not far behind him, Qianfeng and Lu Mei both furrowed their brows, their gazes sharpened, as though they too had pierced through the same truth. A heavy silence lingered, thick with tension. Then suddenly, Qianfeng's eyes gleamed. His voice cut through the air. "Seng Niu, what if the three of us join forces? Together, we can block the sword energy of that golden-armored man." A trace of frost surfaced within Wang Lin's gaze. He gave a slight nod. Fine. Qianfeng had not made this suggestion lightly. He knew his own limits. Even with Lu Mei beside him, they lacked confidence. If they failed to endure that single strike, then all chances of entering the hidden palace would be lost. Meanwhile, Yunquei and that mysterious old man had already advanced ahead. Time was slipping through their fingers. But now, with Wang Lin joining them, the odds shifted. Slightly. Qianfeng did not dare underestimate Wang Lin anymore. Though Wang Lin stood only at the early stage of soul transformation, Qianfeng's heart had long acknowledged him as a worthy opponent, especially with that 1 billion soul flag in Wang Lin's possession. That object alone was enough to instill fear. It was the very reason Qianfeng had once arranged for Red Butterfly to delay Wang Lin, to avoid confronting him directly while pursuing the cultivation planet Crystal. But now, standing upon this spirit mountain, he realized, before reaching the crystal, there were far more obstacles than he had imagined. Wang Lin was no longer someone he could dismiss. He was an equal, and yet, deep within Qianfeng's heart, pride still burned fiercely. If not for that soul flag, Wang Lin would not be worthy of comparison. After hearing Wang Lin's agreement, Qianfeng pondered briefly, then spoke again. "Fellow cultivator Seng, how about this? Lu Mei and I will take the lead. Then my junior apprentice sister will follow. What do you think?" Wang Lin's expression remained calm. His gaze swept across both Qianfeng and Lu Mei. At that moment, Lu Mei also turned toward him. A faint smile touched her lips as if she was about to speak. But before she could, Wang Lin had already withdrawn his gaze. "No need for such complications," he said flatly. "I'll go first. You two follow behind." Qianfeng was momentarily stunned. His eyes flickered. To take the lead, that meant facing the full force of the attack head-on. And worse, it meant exposing oneself to any betrayal from behind, a position of extreme danger. Qianfeng had proposed moving together precisely because he feared Wang Lin would hesitate, or hold back. With Lu Mei following behind, even if Wang Lin had hidden intentions, he could not act freely. Everything had been calculated. But now, Wang Lin volunteered to step forward alone. Suspicion stirred in Qianfeng's heart, yet this was no time to hesitate. "Then, we will rely on fellow cultivator Seng," he said. Lu Mei frowned slightly. Something about this felt off. After a brief moment of thought, her gaze settled once more on Wang Lin, but Wang Lin did not look at her again. Without hesitation, he surged forward, charging toward the golden-armored figure. Behind him, Lu Mei and Qianfeng followed. The three formed a loose formation as they advanced, and the moment they drew near, the golden-armored man's eyes sharpened. His arm rose slowly. Blinding light gathered upon the golden blade, condensing into a radiant brilliance that seemed to rival the sun itself. Then, he struck. 100-foot-long arc of sword energy erupted forth. It tore through the sky like a heavenly blade descending from the void, accompanied by a deafening sonic boom. The air shattered. The heavens trembled. Only the piercing shriek of the sword energy remained. Echoing across the world, it moved with terrifying speed. In an instant, it arrived. Below them, the vast sea split apart under its pressure, forming a deep chasm as if the world itself had been cleaved in two. When Wang Lin had previously observed Yunquei and the old man resisting this strike, he had merely watched from the side. But now, facing it directly, he truly understood. The destructive power contained within that sword energy was absolute. Even his origin soul trembled violently, on the verge of collapse. His body felt as though it were being crushed beneath an invisible mountain. This sensation, he recognized it. It was the same oppressive force he had once felt beneath the spirit vein of the soul-refining sect. Only now, it was thousands of times stronger. Before the sword energy even reached him, blood had already seeped from the corner of his mouth, and yet his gaze remained unyielding, not a trace of retreat. Behind him, Qianfeng paused. His thoughts surged like a storm. Should he seize this moment and kill Shang Niu? Take the 1 billion soul flag? Or assist him in resisting the sword energy? The thought flashed through his mind, and in the next instant, he made his decision. Kill him. Take the soul flag. With that power, the sword energy would be nothing. Everything unfolded in the span of a heartbeat. Qianfeng laughed. Do not panic, fellow cultivator Seng. I am coming. His body shot forward like lightning, but he was not reckless. This strike had to succeed. He needed to close the distance, to land a single, decisive blow, one strike to end it. Because if he failed, Wang Lin would summon the soul flag, and then the situation would spiral beyond control. Not far away, Lu Mei's eyes flickered. She saw through everything instantly. Qianfeng's intent was laid bare. She hesitated. Then her gaze turned cold. She did not move. She chose to wait. To her, it did not matter. If Wang Lin died, then the lingering imprint he had left within her illusion would vanish, an inner demon erased, and that would only benefit her. Above, the sword energy descended right over Wang Lin's head. At that critical moment, Wang Lin's eyes flashed. A cold snort escaped him. Since he had chosen to go first, how could he not have anticipated Qianfeng's betrayal? Everything had already been calculated from the instant the sword energy was unleashed to the moment Qianfeng began his approach. Wang Lin had been measuring distance, speed, timing. When Qianfeng closed within 100 feet, Wang Lin laughed. His hand struck his storage bag. A pagoda burst forth into the air. In that instant, a surge of divine sense emerged. The early-stage ascendant consciousness of Zhou Yi erupted outward. The advancing sword energy paused. Just for a moment, a fleeting hesitation. But for Wang Lin, it was enough. He laughed again. The pagoda returned to his grasp, and his figure shot downward toward the sea. Yet, his speed was carefully controlled, maintained precisely. Within 100 feet of Qianfeng, the golden-armored man's eyes sharpened, but he did not strike Wang Lin. Instead, his gaze shifted toward Qianfeng. Without the ascendant divine sense obstructing it, the sword energy descended upon him. Qianfeng's expression changed drastically. There was no time to think, no time to understand. He roared. His hand slammed into his storage bag. A red awl appeared. Crimson light erupted from it, surging forward to meet the incoming sword energy. From afar, a faint mocking smile appeared on Wang Lin's face. When he had seen the old man and the monkey resist the attack earlier, something had felt wrong. He had deduced. The golden-armored man treated them as a single unit. Only one strike had been unleashed. The distance between them was about 100 feet. Thus, Wang Lin concluded, if he remained within that distance of Qianfeng, they too would be considered a pair, and the sword energy would strike the one closest. This was why he had rejected Qianfeng's original plan. If they advanced together, they would be too close. Any abnormal movement would immediately alert Qianfeng. So instead, he chose to step forward alone. Even though Qianfeng had grown suspicious, he still walked straight into the trap. In truth, even if Qianfeng had not proposed cooperation, Wang Lin would still have acted. He did not believe Qianfeng would ignore such an opportunity, and even if it were harder to lure him within range, Wang Lin had prepared a second plan. An 80% certainty was enough, and when Qianfeng suggested working together, it confirmed everything. Qianfeng could not resist. He intended to strike under the guise of assistance, but he did not know Wang Lin had already seen through him. Zhou Yi's divine sense was the key. That brief pause shifted everything, and in that moment, Qianfeng became the nearest target. Though the explanation seemed long, all of it occurred within the blink of an eye. As the sword energy swept toward Qianfeng, Wang Lin stopped. He did not flee. Instead, he turned. His cold gaze locked onto Lu Mei. Lu Mei, still positioned at the rear, was startled by the sudden reversal. Understanding flickered within her eyes. She immediately moved, chasing after Wang Lin. The moment she approached, Wang Lin's eyes turned icy. He surged forward once more. This time, he widened the distance, beyond 100 feet. The golden-armored man's expression sharpened. His blades swung twice in rapid succession. 2 arcs of sword energy tore through the sky. One aimed at Wang Lin, the other at Liu Mei. Killing intent erupted within Wang Lin's eyes. He stopped. Then, in an instant, he teleported, appearing within 100 feet of Liu Mei. Her expression changed drastically. Understanding dawned. She did not know the full truth. But from Wang Lin's actions, she grasped enough. Without hesitation, she prepared to teleport, to reverse their positions, to place Wang Lin above her so that he would be the one to bear the strike. Before the blade descends, before fate tightens its grip, there is always a single breath, a single moment, where life and death stand side by side. And in that moment, Wang Lin chose to kill. A cold sneer curled upon his lips. Just as Liu Mei prepared to vanish through teleportation, his hand struck his storage bag. In an instant, several intricately carved fragments burst forth into the air, time domain carvings, long prepared for a moment like this. Time! His voice thundered like a command from the heavens. The carvings detonated all at once. A violent surge of temporal power erupted outward, distorting the flow of existence itself. Though Liu Mei's domain had already reached perfection, this power had not been crafted to defeat her. No, it was forged for a single instant, a single fatal delay. Her figure faltered, just slightly, but enough. That tiny pause was all Wang Lin needed. His body flashed downward like lightning, slipping beneath her position. At that very moment, the 2 streaks of sword energy above fused into one. A terrifying blade descended from the heavens, howling like a mad dragon, its killing intent enough to tear apart the sky. Wang Lin's eyes burned with cold resolve. He pointed forward. From his fingertip, a strand of restriction gas shot out, cutting through space toward Liu Mei. He did not linger. He did not look back. Because he understood. Time was his greatest enemy. Without hesitation, Wang Lin plunged into the sea below. The instant he entered, he saw it. A colossal palace, bathed in a radiant golden glow beneath the depths, like a divine relic. Buried in silence, Wang Lin surged forward at full speed, but even as he moved, he could feel it. A strange, invisible force within the sea. A suppression. Teleportation was sealed. He didn't need to test it. He had encountered such places before, ancient forbidden zones where space itself refused to obey. And this was one of them. He pressed onward, closer, closer. Yet just as he approached the palace, a thunderous roar exploded from above. The sea split apart violently. From the sky, a 100-foot-long arc of sword energy tore through the ocean, chasing him like judgment from the heavens. It was closing in, faster, closer. The pressure crushed down upon him. A sharp, splitting pain erupted from the crown of his head. Wang Lin clenched his teeth. His gaze locked forward. The palace was only 1,000 feet away. But death was right behind him. Blood seeped from his scalp. The pain intensified. 900 feet, 800 feet, 700, 600. Each step forward felt like defying the heavens themselves. But the sword energy was nearly upon him. Its roar thundered inside his mind, shaking his very soul. Wang Lin coughed out a mouthful of blood. His hand struck his storage bag, and an axe appeared. With a savage roar, he spun around. The axe rose before him like a final shield. And then, impact. The sword energy slammed into the axe. A deafening explosion rippled through the sea. Wang Lin's face flushed crimson. Blood burst from his mouth. His origin soul trembled violently, but he endured. In that instant, he reached into his bag again. A pagoda shot forth. Zhou Yi's domain spread out instantly. The sword energy paused, just for a heartbeat. But that heartbeat was everything. Wang Lin surged forward like a madman. 500 feet. Gone in an instant, he crossed into the palace. And the moment he entered, the sword energy trembled, then vanished. Silence returned. Only blood remained. Wang Lin staggered forward, blood dripping from his lips. He stored away the axe and pagoda, then immediately sat down, crossing his legs. Without hesitation, he swallowed a large number of pills. Pain surged through his entire body. Still not enough. He took out a piece of celestial jade, glanced at it once, then crushed it into his mouth. In an instant, pure celestial spiritual energy flooded his body, like a rushing tide of life. His injuries suppressed. His body lightened, strength returned. Moments later, Wang Lin opened his eyes. He rose and stepped deeper into the palace. Above the sea, the blade of sword energy continued its descent toward Liu Mei. She was about to dodge, but the restriction from behind closed in. her expression changed. Her teeth clenched, she spat out a mouthful of white mist. Within that mist, a white ribbon danced. With a single whip, the restriction shattered. The ribbon coiled around her body, pulling her away 10,000 feet in an instant. The sword energy struck nothing and faded. The golden armored figure did not pursue. He stood still, silent. His duty was simple. Guard the entrance, allow only the qualified to pass, and qualification required surviving a single strike. Qianfeng stood nearby, his condition miserable, but alive, because once one left the zone, the attack ceased, his face twisted with fury. "Sang Niu," he roared. "I swear, I will tear you apart. If I break this oath, may I die a miserable death." Beside him, Lu Mei stared silently at the sea, her expression dark cold. As Qianfeng continued to rage, she frowned. "Enough! If you hadn't harbored malicious intent, if the three of us had truly cooperated, we would already be inside the palace." Qianfeng's eyes turned savage. He glared at her. "You think I didn't see it? The way you two looked at each other, your little exchanges. Junior sister, don't forget your promise." Lu Mei's gaze turned icy. With Yunquezi present, Seng Niu won't retrieve his soul piece easily. He won't allow it. Qianfeng took a deep breath. His expression calmed, but only on the surface. He reached into his storage bag. "The old man gave me something. It was meant to counter the 1 billion soul flag. If it can affect that, it can affect descendant cultivators too. When Yunquezi emerges, I'll use it. I only want my soul piece. But if he refuses," his eyes flashed with madness, "I'll fight to the death." Within the palace beneath the sea, a vast hallway stretched before Wang Lin, endless, silent. Along its walls, strange lamps flickered. Their light was not flame, but something unknown, something demonic. The dim glow twisted the space itself, bending perception. Wang Lin moved cautiously. Step by step, time lost meaning. The corridor did not change. It did not end. And he dared not extend his divine sense too far, because when he first tried, a portion of it vanished, as if devoured. Since then, he remained vigilant. After what felt like an eternity, flickers of spell light appeared in the distance. Wang Lin stopped. Carefully, he extended his divine sense forward, and what he saw shook him. At the end of the hallway was an immense open space. At its center, a towering structure, a 1,000-foot tower. At its peak, a throne, and upon it, a man. Black-haired, middle-aged in appearance, ordinary at first glance, yet he radiated an aura of absolute majesty. His eyes were closed. No life remained in him. A corpse, but a terrifying presence still emanated from his body, filling the entire space. The moment Wang Lin saw him, an overwhelming urge surged within him, to kneel, to bow, to submit. His heart trembled. He immediately activated celestial spiritual energy to suppress it. There was a force here, one that shook the very soul. Before the man floated a sphere of purple light. It illuminated him from the front, casting a deep shadow behind. But the light was flickering, fading, as if it could extinguish at any moment. When Wang Lin's divine sense touched it, a violent force surged back. He withdrew instantly. Back in the hallway, his face turned pale. Fear filled his eyes. The first Suzaku, Yewuyo, he recognized him immediately, and that purple sphere, the cultivation planet crystal. Yet, something felt wrong. Though it matched the description, there was no resonance, no connection to his soul fragment. Just then a voice echoed from within. "Since you have come, enter." Yunquezi Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. When his divine sense entered earlier, he saw only the Suzaku and the crystal, not Yunquezi, not the old man. They were hidden. Wang Lin hesitated, then moved forward. Soon, he stepped into the open space. The pressure intensified. Before the towering structure, he felt insignificant, like dust. He inhaled deeply. Then, he saw him, Yunquezi, in a corner, seated, cross-legged, his face pale, blood at his lips, weak, much weaker than before Wang Lin, a faint smile. "I was right. You were the third to arrive." Wang Lin remained cautious. "What about him?" Yunquezi's expression darkened. "I trapped him in a formation. He should still be inside." He paused, then spoke again. "I am heavily injured. Retrieve the cultivation planet crystal for me. For the forsaken immortal clan. For all cultivators. It must not collapse." Wang Lin's gaze remained calm. "You want me to take it?" Yunquezi sighed. "I know your nature. Check me. You'll see. I'm nearly exhausted. That old man is not from Suzaku. His techniques are strange. I cannot hold him for long. When he escapes, he will seize the crystal. And then, disaster will fall upon all of Suzaku. Wang Lin raised his head, his eyes locked onto the flickering purple light. Silence. Then, without warning, he retreated. Fast. Faster than before, like a madman fleeing death. Yunquezi's eyes sharpened, his figure vanished, and reappeared at the passage, blocking the way. "What are you doing?" he demanded coldly. Wang Lin stopped, his eyes gleamed. He stepped back slightly. His hand waved as the 1 billion soul flag appeared, his voice calm, cold. "I am not ready to die."